This is over and over and over again, the Positive Arsenal channel. We're live, and this is the Burnley versus Arsenal pre-match fan cam reaction show. Hello, Ian and Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, the Positive Arsenal channel. It's just finished at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Arsenal 1. I personally feel that was 2 points thrown away, completely and utterly wasted there. We should have won that game. This is going to be a fan reaction show. We've got a few fans joining us, as you saw there in the introduction. It should be good to find out what the other guys made of it all. So the other side of this will be getting going. So first in, we've got Albert, obviously from Albert JTV. How you doing, Albert? You all right, mate?
Not bad. Rich, I'll commend you. That's a lovely picture you got of me, mate. That's when I could have a haircut.
No, you're looking smooth there, mate. You are looking smooth, no problem. Obviously, as we said, just finished 1-1 there at Turf Moor. I personally feel we threw that game away massively. What did you make of it all?
Rich, you know what? I don't run out of things to say. I mean, because I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing over and over again, man. Like your channels. I watched that for once, Rich. We actually started the game well. And when I say started the game well, within 10 minutes, we got the early goal. It's a great move, actually. If you look at it, a bit, people might say about Nick Pope, but you know, I thought he's unlucky personally. But yeah, I thought it was a good goal. It was a good move. Partey, Xhaka, Williams, Aubameyang. We had a couple more chances after that to go 2-3-0 up. And even though watched it, Rich, like in the first 20, 30 minutes, I'm saying, you know what? The only way Arsenal can throw away this game is they press the self-destruct button. And unfortunately, for what I will say, because it is, listen, people, Rich, we on social media, we know what it's going to be like in terms of Granit Xhaka, but Leno didn't do him any favors, man. Let's have it right. But even so, I mean, Rich, I've said it before. With Granit Xhaka, I did a pre-match show on the Bearded Gooner channel, and I mean, there's a lot of Xhaka loving at the moment. But I've said it, Rich. I've been very consistent with what I've said about Granit. It's purely on the football, and I'm not going to get on him too much when he does the mistakes he does, because we've seen it before. And also, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and thinking we've got the next, you know, I don't know, the next Lothar Matthäus in the midfield, for example. You know, I take it for what it is when I see him, and unfortunately, that's what we saw again today.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I've been saying the last few games actually that the goals that we've conceded have been dreadful. We teams don't have to work hard to score against us. No. We gift them goals, and for me, that one today, obviously, that's the worst one of the lot, I reckon, in the last probably this season. Actually, we've given away some shockers, but that one there is just, you don't play the ball across your own goal. Yes, I agree. Leno didn't do him any favours with the pass to him. He was under pressure, and he didn't get a lot of time to think. He wanted to get the ball on his left foot, ideally, and he tried to curl it round Chris Wood. But I mean, you don't do that. It was just a ridiculous mistake, and unfortunately, as you said, there's going to be a lot of people jumping on that. Because it's Granit Xhaka, he's not exactly Mr. Popular, is he? And unfortunately, it was him today that's made that mistake. And, you know, I mean, I've tried to defend Granit Xhaka because I actually think he's done okay for us. I think he's had a decent season. But you can't excuse that. That was a ridiculous, terrible, terrible mistake, and it's cost us the game. I mean, that was still quite early on. There was quite a lot of drama in the second half, wasn't there? I mean, what did you make of first of all, the handball from Peters that wasn't given, that should have been given when Pepe flicked the ball past him and he's got his arm out? Did you think that should have been a penalty?
Yeah, I was very surprised it wasn't given. I mean, even, you know, I mean, I barely remember Peter Wharton when he's a ref, but even he said that I was surprised it wasn't given. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
But yeah, Rich, touching on quickly, I thought Burnley, to be honest, mate, even their bread and butter and their strength, their crossing in the first half was terrible. I mean, they didn't beat the first one on any occasion. They didn't create any chances. We gave it to them. But yeah, coming to the second half, I thought they grew in a bit more confidence, Burnley, and I thought they kind of nullified us from what we were doing in the first half. I thought that, but mind you, having said that, I did think it was a bit scrappy the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, but
yeah, it was.
It did liven up when the substitutions were made on both sides, Burnley and Arsenal. But mate, again, we still had chances, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've not been this animated watching an Arsenal game, like within like a 15, 20-minute period.
Yeah, me too.
As I was. Yeah, and like I think the next door neighbours thought that I was having a heart attack or something because some of the noise I was making. Oh my god! I mean, Aubameyang, Pepe. Oh man, but yeah, mate, I'm surprised that penalty wasn't given the first one, mate. I'm very surprised.
And then obviously the second one, which initially was given, and the red card was given, clearly wasn't, was it? I mean, it's why did they take so long? Because as soon as you saw the first replay, it was clear it hit his shoulder, and although he had moved it upwards, it's hit his shoulder. It's not a penalty, is it? And I don't know why it took them so long to give that decision. Really, it's very, very strange. Yeah,
no, that's the thing, and even before that, Rich, that Pepe chance, man. Oh my god,
I know, yeah, like, sitter.
I don't know what, it was, mate. It was a sitter. And then obviously there's pandemonium at the end when Sabas hit the post and Aubameyang had the shot blocked. And you know what? No surprise. You know, if we look at the man of the match, mate, it was either going to be one of Burnley's two centre halves in Ben Mee or Tarkowski because they threw themselves at everything. But I think Jake Humphrey summed it up well, actually, at the end of the game when he said, if you want to know why Burnley is still in this league, it's that performance today, man. Was it 5 consecutive home draws?
Yeah, incredible record that is, isn't it? I mean, they don't lose many, but they're not winning enough, perhaps. But it's going to be probably enough to keep them up, I guess. I mean, if they defend like that for the rest of the season, they're certainly playing for their manager today. There's no doubt about that. But 100%. For me, we did throw that game away. We were in total control, wasn't we, for half an hour, 35 minutes, complete control. And even now, I'm almost shocked that we've come away with just a draw and haven't won that game. It's just I can't believe that we didn't win.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. That's the thing, Rich. I mean, it's not an arrogance thing, you know, because listen, I kind of said before the game that I think Arsenal go there and get the job done, 2-0. And when you looked at the starting 11, I always say Arteta throws in the curveball. We saw Chambers on it. It was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly. He played well, didn't he? Actually.
Yeah, he did all right. But there was enough on that pitch, Rich, to get them 3 points a day against a Burnley side that we know struggle to score goals. So. Yeah, mate. I don't know. It's not it's a tough one to take that because, like you said, it is 2 points dropped. I can't understand how we've walked away with that game with a 1-1 draw. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Mark C in the chat there. What does Martinelli have to do to get brought on for the last 20, 25 minutes? I mean, it seemed again he brought Ceballos on for the last 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was. And Ceballos almost scored the winner, didn't he, at the end? But surely that's a game for Martinelli, isn't it, to come on and get a run out surely for the last 10 or 15 minutes when we need a goal, we need to win the game. Instead, he brings on a more defensive midfield player. And yes, he did almost score, but I don't know what's going on with Martinelli now. Something's not right there, surely.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, but I'm actually not even really surprised anymore because I think I said it to you on a couple of fan cams ago that to me, when he never came on against Villa, and that was with even less time on the pitch. And he didn't start against Leicester. But what I will say with Mikel Arteta is, I mean, listen, I could see on his face that after the first start, he was furious. And I get it because, you know, we're in control of the game looking comfortable. And you can't legislate for when your senior players, by the way, not your youngsters, your senior players are making the mistakes that they're making. You just think to yourself, why are these guys throwing me under the bus, man?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was today. I mean, Mark said there again, obviously, about Martinelli. He's a great asset, woefully underused. He is indeed. And Norwegian Gooner there, what a sad Saturday it's turned out to be. Well, it's not quite sad. I'm more frustrated, actually. I would have been sad if we'd lost. And we nearly did, actually. Leno made a good save, didn't he, from Chris Wood?
He did.
With his legs, really good save.
Yeah, Rich, it's one of them games for the last 15, 20 minutes where I thought whoever scored the goal was going to win the game. And I actually generally, it's a weird one because we did have chances to bury it, but the way that second half sort of manifested itself, if we'd have lost that, I'm not even really sure we could have really complained that much because, I mean, I know people say one shot on target as in the first half performance, but we had chances to be 2-3 goals up easily.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. No, to me, we totally threw that away. We were in such control. You know, for the first half an hour, I even said in the watch along, you know, we're so much in control of this game. It's ridiculous. Burnley offered nothing, and then from that position, we've gifted them a goal, and it was always going to be tricky second half, wasn't it? You know, it was. I say there was quite a lot of drama in that second half, chances at both ends, and I say the penalties and all sorts else going on, but. Yeah, it was one of them, I suppose, that maybe in some sense we could have lost, and that would have been a total disaster. Yeah. I suppose, you know, we didn't lose, and I guess we need to be sort of cling on to that a little bit. I mean, Mark C says they're 2 points lost. Yeah, I definitely
100%.
Agree. It was 2 points lost. If you go 1-0 up, you should be able to manage the game a bit better than what we did. And in the end, we could even have lost it. So, yeah, very disappointing, really. I mean, it would be your man in the match today, then, Albert. Quite a difficult choice, I thought. It was very difficult for me to pick one.
God, I mean, even I'm struggling, to be honest. Rich. I thought Chambers did all right, considering the amount of football he has not had, even though he's come back. I mean, so Rich, I'm scratching, mate. Chambers did all right. I thought Aubameyang was very sharp in the first sort of 20, 30 minutes in the first half, but then he kind of. I didn't really sort of notice him in the second half, but could Arteta made the changes any sooner? I'm not too sure, mate. But I'm kind of scratching my head. I'd say Chambers done all right, personally, for me. Some people will disagree and probably pick somebody else. But I think I find it very, very difficult, mate, to pick anybody else.
Yeah, no, it is difficult. And I agree. I thought Chambers, considering, like you said, the lack of game time he's had, he came on and lasted the 90 minutes, still carried on going forward. I thought he did well defensively. So, he had a solid game, much better than I expected him to. So I suppose you can't really argue that decision as him being our man and that stuff. I thought he was as good as anyone else. But it's just a feeling of frustration for me, and unfortunately, it makes that top six now, even more difficult, doesn't it? Everybody's dropped points this week. We had an opportunity to pull some back, and once again, we get into a good position, and then we can't see it through, can we?
That's the problem, man. Like we're not good enough to capitalize, man, on these guys dropping points or throwing in the clangers that they're doing the opposing teams that we're up against for top 6, top 8, whatever it is. But today was just another sort of reminder of we're so short, man. And game management, whatever way you want to look at it, we're just short, mate. Quality game management, the players being able to carry out Arteta's instructions. I don't have an issue playing from the back, Rich. That's not the issue. It's the fact that you got to know when to do it, and I'm sure Arteta wouldn't slate them for that. Yeah,
no, you're right, and we've done it well at times, and other times it's cost us goals regularly. Over the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, we started doing it under Emery, really, didn't we? And we were giving away goals, and it looked as though we'd maybe got out of that a little bit. We haven't really conceded a goal like that for a while, and then it's come back again today. We were put under a bit of pressure, and we panic in those situations. And unfortunately, that happened today, and it's cost us, but. I suppose at least we got something out of the game. I just feel very, very frustrated that we didn't get the 3 points that we needed, really. I mean, what you're making now, obviously ahead of Thursday, a big game, of course, isn't it, in the Europa League now? Do you think he's going to make a lot of changes from the team, or do you think it will be? Obviously, we've got quite a lot of options in the attacking options now, haven't we? Rotating today, you seem to rotate a lot of players, bring a few on, take some off, and do you think there's going to be a bit more rotation on Thursday?
I mean, looking at the last 2-3 games, there's been, I think, 5 changes twice, and I think there was 6 in one of the games.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how far he deviates away from the team that he picked today for Thursday. I think the front four. I think Emil Smith-Rowe might come in. I think he might come in. And I actually think Pepe should get his chance on Thursday, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, he didn't really cover himself in glory today, though, did he? Missing that chance, and even that one that was off the line, he should have scored. He miskicked that other one, didn't he, just before? And I don't know. He did play quite well when he come on, actually, but he had two big chances. Yeah, he did all right. But Mark C says that we didn't really show a sense of urgency until added time. Again, we didn't. Yeah. That's been a typical theme. Where at least this time we did at least show some urgency at the end, which has been lacking in previous games a few times. And David Luiz plays it long all the time. He's always looking for that long ball, Joe. Yeah. He is always looking for a long ball. And sometimes it comes off and sometimes not. And Mark there, Leeds fan, Mark Reddy, head down syndrome. That needs to kick. Yeah, it is a little bit head down syndrome. Yeah, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Albert. Thanks for your thoughts on the game. Just before you go, just obviously give your channel a little plug. I know you're doing some a lot of good stuff. You've got a show actually later on today, haven't you?
I have. I'm probably thinking, oh God. I will touch on the Burnley game. I need to do a review for the game as well, which I won't spend too long on because I need to do a little bit more prep. But yeah, thanks for having me on again, Rich, mate. Always a pleasure. Albert J TV should be easy to find on YouTube and Twitter, and the Twitter handles there at AUMO57. Come and subscribe, people.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. So the show is 6 o'clock, isn't it, tonight? Is that right? 6 o'clock.
Yes, Life Stories Part 2. There've been interesting topic I want to cover towards the back end of the show. So hopefully people will tune in. Get some things off my chest, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, so tune into that 6 o'clock. That's going to be good. The last one was really good. That you had the Life Story show as well. That was really good. So I'm sure this one will be good as well. But say thanks for coming on, and hopefully Thursday will be a little bit better. Let's hope so. Eh?
Mate, I hope so. I want to see an European trophy at the Emirates, mate. Trust me.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? That would be lovely. Yeah. Let's hope so. But we'll see what happens anyway. But at least it's I suppose at least we're unbeaten in 3 games. Let's look at it that way and take a little bit of confidence from that. Well, thanks for coming on anyway. And I say we obviously join your channel 6 o'clock tonight.
Cheers, mate.
We'll see you later on. No problem. Thanks for coming on, Albert.
See you soon. Cheers.
So, following from Albert, we've got Gary from DWTT. What did you make of all that? Are you as frustrated as we are, as me and Albert were?
Yeah, I know we're supposed to be positive. I know we're supposed to be overly positive. We're supposed to be positive and find something good in this game, but I'm not sure how you can do that. I want to, but I guess the positive is we had opportunities, right? We had opportunities in the first half. We had opportunities in the second half. None of the calls went our way. I mean, just everything about this game was going against us, and we weren't able to complete the opportunities we had in front of us. So, that's good to see. We started out the game really good, and it was on the live stream with like 10 minutes to go. I'm like, all right, well, we got 10 minutes to kind of get something out of this game. And I said it live. And 4 minutes later, we got punished. We punished ourselves. I wouldn't even say we got punished. We put ourselves in a bad situation, and they benefited from it. So we did everything we're supposed to do in this game. And I know, it's all on the players, because in that first half, it's all on the players. They had all to do, and they didn't do a good job as a whole. The scoring goal was really nice. The combinations that were going on there. Was it Partey to Willian to Aubameyang for the score? We should be able to do that on most teams that we're going to play this season, right? Probably all the teams we should be able to do that kind of combination play. But we had a lot of shots that we missed. It was a lot of lost opportunities today, and it came back to haunt us like they always do. We didn't get the calls from from VAR. VAR didn't seem like they took a look at the first handball or the second handball, whichever one. You could pick one, right? I think there were 2 handballs in that one series of plays, and then on the second one, and on the second call, they looked at that forever, and did the right call, which is punishing because if they would have spent any time on the first one, I think you had 2 opportunities there to maybe have the call go our way, and they just blew it off. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, Pepe's passing the ball towards the goal line so he can get an opportunity, and he sticks his arms out unnaturally, and they don't even look at it. So it's not a conspiracy. It's just incompetence. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
they're not one, they're not consistent, and two, they're not following the rules that they set forth to do. That was their goal. So that's punishing in itself. But we lost, at 2 points today. Is what I saw somebody say, and we definitely did. We definitely did. We had too many opportunities, and at some point you can't blame you can't blame Arteta, at least for the starting lineup in the first half, but you can for the second half and kind of the change in the team play. I mean, we came out that second half, and to me, it looked like we weren't the team trying to get the points. That we were trying to get all 3 points in that. To me, in that early part of the second half, then the subs didn't really, for me, show that we were trying to get something more out of the game. So I kind of felt like, kind of a tale of two halves, one where the players kind of let us down, and two where the management of the players coming on didn't help either. I mean, we dominated this game. You look at all the stats. We dominated all of them except for shots on goal. What? How? How could that happen in a game like this? We should be dominating on shots on goal. We didn't do that. I saw. I guess one thing that upset me. I saw somebody giving rankings, and they had Xhaka at a 5.0, and they had Partey at a 4.7, and Saka at a 3.6. Really? Wow. Really?
I mean, to be fair, I actually thought Xhaka was playing well until the mistake for the goal. I thought he'd had a decent first half. Actually, he was getting on the ball. His passing was good. He was winning a lot of tackles. He was reading the game well. And then, of course, he makes that terrible mistake to give them a goal. And I think maybe his confidence went a little bit after that. He wasn't as effective at all in the second half. And maybe that was part of it. But, I mean, as Ben says in the chat there, we've only got ourselves to blame. Yeah, we have. We've only got ourselves to blame because we were in a comfortable position in that game where we was in total control. And we've done it before, haven't we, in Gameville? The Wolves game, for example, 1-0 up, and again it was mistakes cost us that game, and we ended up losing. Today we've ended up drawing. And you look at the substitutions. You're right, what you said there. Burnley made substitutions, I felt, to try to win the game. We made substitutions to try to maybe stick at what we had a little bit. Certainly at the end, bringing Ceballos on. I mean, what's this going on with Martinelli? Why was he not brought on there with maybe 5-10 minutes to go? Surely he's more. I know Ceballos nearly scored actually at the end, which would have been ironic when I've been saying that in the commentary that I was doing. But surely Martinelli's a player to bring on 5-10 minutes to go in a game like that to maybe try and get a goal or do something. Surely. Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, but Ceballos was the same player that got pulled out in the Benfica game.
Yeah.
Right. And Xhaka, he played the whole 90. I understand. Well, I mean, understand that he can't come off and he has to play 90, but I mean, it seems like there's two rule books out there for the players and how they get handled, and that, like you said, he got that goal happened and he wasn't the same player. So what we got in the first half when we didn't get in the second half, and mentally he just wasn't there. And as a manager, if you saw it, then he must have saw it too. And then why not give him? You know what? You had a bad situation occur. You're not coming back from it. At least I can't see it from you. So maybe you should come out for a little bit and let somebody else get a break. Was it? Some would say it's not all on him, but he had at least three different decisions to make at that point. Either he could kick it back to his goalie, or he could have kicked it out to the right one touch.
Yeah.
Or he could have made a better kick. I mean, he put his head down and kicked it right at them, so he didn't know where he was kicking at that point. Or he just kicks it out of bounds. He had multiple choices, and he just got it wrong there. So
I mean, it was a. You don't play the ball across your own goal, do you? Anyway, certainly not when you could see that Chris Wood was there. He could see him, and he tried to get the ball round him, and it's like, well, you're not going to be able to do that. It was just a mad decision, really. And I kind of agree with Albert. He wasn't the greatest pass to him from Leno. He did put him under pressure, but he's got to deal with that better. Boot it out for a corner, do something.
Kick it back to the goalkeeper and say, "No, you clean it up." Right? He's good about. He's good about kicking it backwards, and then the one time you want him to kick it backwards, he doesn't. Right? I mean, there's warranties on the play that we get from our players this year, right? They may give us, 2 to 3 good games, even though some would say Xhaka has some good plays, but as a good game as a whole, there's always something, he's always slowing down the play, negative passes and negative thought process in his head. So it kind of comes out as a wash. So then he's even. So he doesn't give you. Sometimes you want those players that are going to push themselves a little bit more and take a little bit of a risk, which will benefit the team some. If you make a bad pass going forward, I'll take that. But if you make a bad pass going backwards, that could be really punishing. And we saw some of that today too, right? With one of the bad passes going backwards from the players. So we play on short margins, and this is a game that showed, what, this is what happens when you play with these smaller margins and you don't finish. As was it Dan Potts says, you don't finish your dinner. We did not finish a dinner. Whatever I think that's the phrase he says. But we gotta put. Pepe has a sitter in the middle. I mean, we had some really good opportunities today. Saka, he had a good opportunity today to score.
Yeah.
I was hoping Odegaard would get an opportunity to score today. I don't know if he's at that point where he feels like he can do that, but he needs to be able to be threatening to me on the goal. Maybe that might open up things for him a little bit more if he does that.
He had one shot, didn't he, in the second half? Nick Pope saved it, but that was the only real opportunity he had to score. Gareth in the chat there says a lot of fans defending Xhaka, blaming Leno for the goal. What are your thoughts? Personally, I didn't think it was a great pass from Leno, but you can't excuse Xhaka that. I mean, I defend Xhaka as often as I can because I do quite like the guy. I think he's been playing well, but I can't excuse Xhaka for that. No excuse, really. It's Xhaka's fault. I would say 90% on Xhaka. The pass wasn't great, but he needs to deal with it. Hoof it out of the stand. Do something else with it. Don't do that. What about you? Did you think that Xhaka's mainly at fault for that? Then?
Well, like I said, I saw like a replay of what happened, and before he gets the pass, off to his left is a player that he was trying to get the ball to after he put an extra touch on the ball. So so if he's playing out of the back like that, the way you play, I think the best way to play out of the back is to prepare for your next pass before you receive one, right? So if that's the case, he gets that pass and he just passes it right out to whoever's out. I think it was probably Marie. Is that right? On the right? Who's on the right? Yeah. Sorry, Chambers. It'd be Chambers out there probably, right?
It was David Luiz
it was David Luiz that was out there. So if he makes that pass, we move up the field. Nothing happens. He took an extra touch, and then he made probably the most difficult pass he was going to have to make in that situation, because he could have just kicked it clear out of bounds for a corner, right? Yeah. But he's trying to curl it, and you have to, as they say sometimes, you have to know your role, right? He's not a person I've considered anybody can curl the ball around anything, much less the offensive player going back towards goal. So it's not Leno may have put him in a bad situation, but he could have just given it right back to him and said, "No, it's your fault. You put me under duress. You clean it up." Because Leno has done that. He has cleaned up messes for everybody on that field.
He made a really good save actually, didn't he? Later in the game as well with his legs to deny Chris with another.
He made two saves in that portion of the game, right? He made one right before it, and then he made that one as a clear, like, all right, So he. I know you're talking about man of the match. That's my man of the match, just because everybody else did not have a good game, and I think he had the best game. If you're going to call a negative pass, which he doesn't have anything to do with the pass afterwards, that's the only thing you got. Then he probably was the best player we had on the field today, all around. Everybody else had.
He did well. He did well. I mean, obviously, in answer to Gareth's point there, I mean, I would, if I made that pass that Xhaka made, I would be blaming myself for that goal. So I think Xhaka has as well. You could see at the end, Xhaka knew he was to blame anyway, didn't he? So and I say I'll defend Xhaka as long as possible, but there's no defending that, unfortunately. And I think Leno's a decent call for man of the match actually, because he did make a couple of good saves there, which has at least got us a point. Even though we should have got more.
Oh no, definitely, yeah. I mean, and if he's a leader, if Xhaka is a leader, then he's coming out hopefully to his teammates telling him that that was all on him, and then he didn't, and then not only just that, but then coming out that I didn't really give all myself today, because that's what happened in the second half. The first half, I'll give it to him. He was good, but once again, him playing well with Partey would be the same, for anybody else who's out there. Would Ceballos look good with Partey out there? I mean, you saw it in the game. He's getting a lot of space. And is it because of Partey, or is it because he's having a good day? No, I think it's because of Partey. He kind of puts him in situations where he's going to get the ball with space and time, or he's threatening enough that then they have to sit back because they know the midfield is a lot stronger than usual. You take Partey out and they're all over us, and we fall under pressure like we did today. A little bit of pressure, and then bad things happen. Right? So,
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, I mean, it was frustrating, disappointing, and I suppose it showed up all the problems that there is in the current squad and the current team. I think, and it all maybe came into focus today. I mean, just quickly then, moving on to Thursday, then, what do you think? Do you think there's going to be a few changes to the side for Thursday night?
I think so. I think Pepe should come in on the left for Willian. I don't think he should be. I don't know why he's. I would have liked to have seen him come in today. I don't think he came in today. Cedric hopefully is. I think I saw somebody say food poisoning or something like that. But I'm hoping Cedric is healthy enough to come in. And play. Who else? Aubameyang. Yeah, I think the front four would be Aubameyang with Pepe, Erdiger, and Saka. Saka, I think, looked rusty, which to me is one reason why I wanted him to come out, because I want him to look rusty today and not on Thursday.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Right? Because we need to come out. If we came out today against a team that was going to sit back and make us, beat them down, figure out a way to break their defense, and we were still able to score in the first 6 minutes. Then Olympiacos, we need to come out pretty much at 100 miles per hour and put it to them early, because we can't go into half thinking with a 1-0 lead. We need to come in and actually get something out of that game. Partey, I think he looked good to me today, and like I said, to see somebody rank Partey behind Xhaka was a little surprising, because I feel like Partey is the reason why that midfield looks the way it does, and why Xhaka looks the way he does when he's having a good, when he's making good plays.
Totally agree. Totally agree with it. Well, thanks for coming on, Gary. Great to chat to you again. Just give your channel a plug as well before you go, because all right.
So you can see below DWTT. You plug that into YouTube, DWTT Arsenal, and I should pop up first in the list. Don't Waste a Tweet is my Twitter handle, where you'll find out the games come in. My videos coming out. So today, hopefully, I'll get 2 videos out, but definitely my 5 will be coming out today. And just to give you a heads up on my 5, it's Willian, Erdiger, Partey, Chambers, and Luiz. That's kind of the players I was looking at today. So I'll kind of go in depth on them today, and enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. All right, thank you.
No, definitely. Yeah, so tune into Gary's channel and check his stuff out as well. So thanks for coming on, Gary. No doubt we'll speak again soon. So thanks for that. Take it easy.
Thank you. All right, thank you everyone in the chats. Thank you, Rich.
See you, mate. See you, mate.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And now we've got Melvin back again on the channel. What's your kind of thoughts on that then, Melvin? You must be frustrated.
I'm not frustrated. I'm angry.
Okay.
Very, very angry. I mean, I've been here before, this team or this club, over the years and everything, but today epitomised what's been an Arsenal supporter meant. Everything to get you angry could have happened. Usual suspect, let us down. I know that you've been not that critical of him, and rightly so, you're probably right, but I cannot have him in the team anymore. I've said it before. I know that he might give a good 30-yard ball one day, but it's irrelevant when he does what he did today. You wouldn't see it over Hackney Marshes, that type of goal. It was unbelievable. Even Wood, who scored, looked embarrassed when he ran away. He was like, that was ridiculous. I mean, I'm just going to say, I don't normally rant, as you know, but my view is the last game I watched to the Emirates was the West Ham game before the lockdown, right? I came out of there and I said to my son, if I've got to watch Jack next season, I'm not renewing my season ticket. I said, so I'm either going to get rid of it or you get one of your friends, and he might have had a friend to take it. because I've just had enough. I cannot watch that anymore. And it's built up and built up over the years to that point. And now I'd like, if they should get Arteta now, put him, interview him and go, Mr. Arteta, next season, are you going to pick Xhaka to be in your team? If he says yes, I think it's a sackable offence. Shows he's got no idea. I'm serious. I think he's got no idea to take this club forward. It's why he gets in the team, I do not know. 3 managers pick him, plus an international manager pick him. And to reiterate that he's a liability is not enough, because he is. He gave away a goal last week. He was part of it. He didn't give away a goal. He put it in a basket, wrapped up and gave it to him. I just cannot. And basically, football nowadays, without the crowd there, a lot of it is about momentum. And any momentum we had in the first 40 odd minutes went out the window. All of a sudden, Burnley, they were there for the taking. And I'm not just blaming him, but you think about the Saka, the chances he missed. Aubameyang with his left foot didn't think the ball was going to come to him. And that was a bit of a muddle. Another piece, loads of our players, Pepe included, missed what I would call very, very good chances. We weren't ruthless enough. And if you're not ruthless enough, you can't afford to give away stupid goals, which we do on a regular basis. So those 2 things show we are in the league where we are for a reason. Yes, things didn't go our way. We hit the post and this, that, and the other. But that penalty decision, the first one, I mean, I shouldn't think it, but I do. Like there's a vendetta. It's like you keep giving evidence. The guy had a motive. He had fingerprints. They got him shooting the geezer on film. Everything else that fits, not guilty. He gets off with it. You go, what? Is he sleeping with a judge or something? And it feels like that would be an Arsenal supporter. But every time you get a decision that should be or shouldn't be a penalty, you can make an argument, right? Whoever you support. This one, I don't know what the argument is. What was the argument? And also even BT Sport, where after the game they interviewed the Burnley manager and the Burnley guy that handled the ball, and they both went, and the commentator was lushing it up. Oh, isn't VAR fantastic because it made the right decision when it hit your shoulder and not your arm. They never mentioned the other one. That's all. Forget about that. No. It just drives you mad. It drives you actually absolutely mad. Look, let's face it. Saka, I think, had one of his poorest games for us. Not knocking him because he's great, and every player, just come back as well. Every player has dips, but let's be honest, he had a very poor game. I thought Tierney looked off today as well. I thought he didn't seem to be very fluid in his play. He seemed to be checking back all the time or not quite controlling the ball. I mean, it's very difficult. I thought first half, Odegaard looked terrific for Partey, same as Partey. Second half, he kept giving the ball away. Partey, I thought he was making bad decisions. But the 2 of them first half, I thought it was beautiful to watch them when they're moving the ball around. Aubameyang took his goal well. I thought it was a goalkeeper and error as well, actually. But he looked lively to start with. All of a sudden, once that goal went in, Richard, and you can't blame, they're professionals, but their shoulders dropped because you're thinking, what have we got to do? We've got to go. This is it. Let's get the old cigars out. We're going to get another 2 because they were there for that. They weren't, they weren't very good, Burnley, with due respect. I don't think our goalie touched the ball first half or got anywhere near anything. But once they got that goal, it gave them confidence, and they could have won it. And a game like this, we normally lose because they should have scored with Wood, right? A good save by our keeper. And that's the type of game where we should be all over, and we should be. I've seen it so many times before. Away from home, we should have been 2 or 3 up. No, we're 1-0 up, and all of a sudden we're 2-1 down, and it just saps your energy. I mean, teams don't have to get a goal against us. We give it to them. They don't have to fight. They don't have to go out before they play. How are we going to score a goal against Arsenal? Don't worry, they'll give us one. They don't have to plan for that. And it annoys me so much. And it's the usual suspect again, the same geezer. Even David Luiz, who is a good defender, let's get it fair, is a good defender. But when he thinks he's a midfield player, everything drops with him as far as I'm concerned. He gets the ball, he pushes it forward, he thinks he's got all the time in the world, have a look up, have a little shimmy, and just take it off him. He should, if he crosses that halfway line, he's got to release the ball much quicker for 2 reasons. A, to get us something, and B, if he loses it, we're in trouble. Yeah. And he thinks because he's David Luiz, that no one's going to touch me, I'll be all right. And you can go through the whole team, the mistakes that everyone made. Williams started off a game, the first 10, 15 minutes looked all right, and then he went into his shell. Another one went into his shell. It's just unbelievable.
He drifted out the game. I mean, Tish there says Xhaka's not good enough for us, but he has been our best midfielder in the last 4 or 5 weeks. That's probably fair. Partey's been struggling too. I think Partey's been struggling maybe because he's not quite match fit yet, is he? He's been injured and he's just come back. And the test also says that easily we should have had a penalty or two. We definitely should have had one, shouldn't we? There was 2 handballs in the same move, and neither of them were given. The second one, when his arms up like that, surely that's in every single other game. That's a penalty, isn't it? And for us, it's not a penalty. And then he gives. I kind of felt a little bit that the one off the line off his shoulder. The referee initially gave that because he maybe felt bad about not giving the first one, because he knew perhaps afterwards, maybe I should have given that one. So he's given that second one, although of course you can't do that these days because VAR will make the right decision usually, and it obviously did. They did get that right, but there's no excuse for them not picking up one of those original penalties in the move before. I mean, but I don't want to blame it on the fact that we didn't win, because we didn't do enough to win. We gave a daft goal away, really, really terrible goal. And then after that, we didn't do enough then to win the game, did we? I didn't think. Yeah, we had some chances and we could have nicked it at the end, couldn't we, with Ceballos when he hit the post. But I don't think we did enough to win that game in the second half, really, do you?
We didn't. But the flip of the coin, Richard, did they deserve to be 1-1 at half time? Did they deserve to be in the game at half time? They didn't do enough. So it evened itself up. And with the penalty, again, why isn't it mandatory for the referee for every VAR decision to go to the screen? I've said it before. Yeah. What's the matter? Is he what's the matter? Has he got something else to do? That few minutes, he wants to have a cigarette or something? Why doesn't he go to the screen and see it himself? I just can't understand it. If he ain't fit enough to trot 30 yards, then he ain't fit enough to be a referee. And if he's at the end of the day, the final decision has got to be with a referee. Yeah. Don't put it to the guys up in the wherever they are, in Scotland or Wales, wherever they are. The final, or wherever, somewhere in England, the final decision must be with the referee. Otherwise, take the whistle away from him, because there's no point in being there.
Yeah, I mean, I was screaming for him to go to the screen for that sending off, because he had to check that. Yes, it was, VAR have got it right. They told him the right decision, but he needs to go and double check that. And he needed to go and double check the other one as well. And he needed to go to the screen. That's what it's for. And that's frustrating. I mean, obviously, we spoke about VAR the other night on the show, and we were saying it needs to be scrapped, or worst case scenarios, they've got to use it better. And today they didn't really. I didn't think. Yes, they got the right decision for the second one, but they didn't do it in the right way. He needs to go to the screen. I totally agree. I was saying that during the watch along I was doing, that he should have gone and checked it. It was obvious, and I don't know why it took him so long. As soon as you saw one replay, you knew it hit his shoulder, and you knew it wasn't a penalty. Why did they take 5 minutes to come to that decision? Just crazy again. But anyway, I suppose they did get it right. So we need to maybe give them a little bit of credit for that, but nothing.
No, hold on, Richard. I disagree. You said they got it right. They should get it right. It's not a difficult thing for them to do. Yeah, you're doing it like they've done something well. Oh, well done, VAR. You got it right. No, that's the standard.
Yeah, no,
it's not something they get they get any bonus for. People talk about, VAR got it right, well done. No, they've got everything in front of them. Why shouldn't they get it right? It's when they get it wrong they should be slaughtered, and they do. Yeah, should have been slaughtered today.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Actually, they should get it right every single time, and quite often they don't. But they, at least I suppose they did get that one right. Who then would be your man in the match then, Melvin? It's a very, very difficult choice for me, because I didn't think anybody particularly stood out. But anyway, I suppose we need to try and find one. Who would you say?
I'm going to get it slightly different. I'm going to give it for man of the 40 minutes, Odegaard, because I mean, he was fantastic that first 40 minutes. Didn't do anything the second half. He was okay. But I thought that first 40 minutes he was gliding everywhere, and he was looking for something, and he was out of all our players chasing them down more than anyone else. If you notice, he was the first one to get up to them. I thought that was terrific as well. For a guy that's supposed to be a midfielder and touch player, he was actually doing a lot of work. So I suppose I'll make him the man in the match, if anybody. As you say, it's very difficult. I think it's definitely not the Burnley groundsman.
No, we've had a few issues there in the past. As Dan said last night on the show, they kept the grass long to make it hard for us, and they probably did again, really, didn't they? But anyway,
I think that's had a horse trial there last night, I reckon, as well. Make it nice and bumpy.
Well, yeah, it didn't look the greatest picture. It isn't often there anyway, but I suppose we still needed to do better, didn't we, in the end? But I suppose we are unbeaten in 3 games. I mean, what are your thoughts on Thursday and ahead of the big Europa League game? Do you think he's going to change the team too much? I mean, obviously, Callum Chambers was a bit of a shock, wasn't he, coming into the team today? But he did all right, didn't he?
He was all right. He's not a right back. He's not fit, I suppose. But he was found wanting a couple of times when his ball control let him down, I thought, and his decision, like flicking out. I mean, it might be because his timing's a bit off, but he's not a fullback. Let's make it. Listen, a guy like Chambers, like him a lot, blah, blah, blah. But when he plays fullback and he does something right, you go, oh, good, because you're not expecting him to in the back of your mind as a fullback. Yeah. That's my point. He's not a fullback, and so when he does something well, it's like, oh, he gets a double hand clap instead of one. He's not. His centre half is okay. Midfield, I'm not too sure about. It just stops us attacking. I know he gets down the flank, but he's very limited when he gets past the halfway line. I thought that he did okay, but we didn't add anything on the right, especially with Saka being a little bit off. We were very much left-sided again today, I thought. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm very upset, but it's not like I'm shocked. But I thought with such a start again after the first 5 minutes, and we saw the way we were opening them up. I thought this should have been over and done by half time. Absolutely over. He could have made another 3 substitutes in the second half just to rest players, not as a panic measure like he did.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and it's 2 points dropped, isn't it? Quite honestly, and unfortunately, it's made it more difficult for us now to get into that top 6. Well, thanks for coming on again, Melvin, and getting it all out. Don't hold it all back.
Yeah, I feel a bit better now. I feel better.
Excellent. That's what it's all about, isn't it? When we've had a disappointing game. Well, thanks for coming on. Obviously, where can people find you on social media just before you go? Because
social media, just as it says there, Melvin the Only Way is Essex, Mark's on Twitter. And I'll speak to you soon. And thanks again, Richard, for having me on.
No worries at all, mate. Take it easy. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers. All the best.
Hello. Now we've got David. First time on the channel, actually, isn't it? From Out and Out Gunners.
Yeah.
Good to have you on today. What did you make of all that today? Then the performance and the result.
Just disappointed, Rich. We had enough chances. To win the game, and besides, even going into the second half, we had that crazy last 10 or 15 minutes. We were peppering, but we should have been 3 or 4 up in the first half. We'd a chance with Aubameyang. Saka had 2. That would have made us 3 or 4-0 up. A crazy goal to give away. You can't give those goals away in the Premier League, or you're going to get punished. And that's what happened. We had enough of chances in the second half. Look, there was a penalty decision. Yeah, it should have been a penalty, but even as Arteta said in his interview, and I'm just echoing that as well, we had enough chances to win the game without having to specifically look at a penalty. So that's the disappointing bit, I suppose, about it all,
No, it is, yeah. I mean, we were in, I felt, total control in that first half, wasn't we? And I mean, that goal was just, I mean, we sort of spoke about it with other people today, but yeah, it was a ridiculous goal to give away at that level of football. That's the sort of goal, if you gave away on a Sunday morning, you'd be annoyed that you're giving away a goal like that. But to do it in the Premier League at that level, is that at that point in the game as well, I just felt that was almost criminal, actually, to give that goal away like that at that time. And unfortunately, we wasn't able to make amends in the second half. I mean, obviously, you said it should have been a penalty, and we maybe had enough chances anyway. But you think about it, last week when we played at Leicester, we got that penalty by handball just before half time, and that actually was a springboard for us to go on and win that game. And that would have probably happened today. And I think it was an important moment, actually. And it should have been given, shouldn't it? Because it was handball. He had his arm out. Why aren't VAR turning those things in our favour?
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't get it with the decisions in VAR. it's putting me off, and I think it's putting a lot of people off. I'm not really looking forward to watching games anymore, to be honest, because I know after every game you watch a game, it's our game today. There's a match on at 3:00. There'll be a match on at 5:30 and 8:00. There's going to be at least 2 other decisions that are going to be contentious from it, and that's all you're listening to. You're forgetting about the game. It's not. You're waiting for the VAR decision. Then after the match, we're looking at a VAR decision where you should be looking at a performance. We're going, look, we played well, we took our chances and won, but no, that's not the case. So we're looking at maybe a VAR decision again. Where, last week, was it not a penalty today more than even the decision last week in the Leicester game? I know the hand was up, but Pepe had rifled the shot from close range. How was that a penalty, but not a penalty today?
Yeah, I think that's the thing that annoys most people, isn't it? The inconsistencies of it all. One decision's given and one isn't, and VAR seem to get involved in certain incidents and not in others. I mean, VAR should have been checking that. That game should have been stopped. They should have checked that, and they'd have seen it was clearly a penalty, and they'd have got the right decision as they did with the other one when they originally gave the penalty and sent him off, and then had to overturn it. I mean, I think it just shows how bad the referees are, because that referee got both those decisions wrong initially, and in previous years that we would have had a penalty, they'd have had 10 men, because that's what the referee gave, and there wouldn't have been the opportunity to overturn that. And now the referee can make a mistake like that, and he hasn't got to worry, because if it's clearly wrong, VAR are going to say, well, sorry mate, it's wrong, and make it right. But that's not the point, is it? The point is that the decisions should be better in the first place. The referee's got to see that as being what it was, which was off his shoulder and not a hand. I mean, I was amazed when he gave it actually at first. I'm thinking, what are you giving that for? Even looking at it first time, it didn't look a penalty to me. I'm thinking,
it didn't look right. No,
giving a red card for that. I was actually shocked.
I think in saying that, Rich, what he was doing there is it was kind of doing what you had said there. I think he gave it, and then he's saying to the VR, look, have a look and tell me, am I wrong? Whereas
he shouldn't be doing that, should he? He shouldn't be doing that.
They should. I just don't get it. But then he will do it for one, but then he won't do it for the other one. It's just no consistency with it. But if this was in Europe today, it would have been a penalty, straight up about it. But what they would have done in Europe is they would have stopped the play. The VAR would have told the referee, go have a look at the screen, see what you think, and then go and then make your decision after that. But it's look, I don't. If that would look at the penalty we gave away against Benfica, the ball hits Smith Rowe's chest up onto his hand, and it's a penalty. I am actually happier with the way they have the rules in Europe, because at least it's a handball, it's a penalty. We understand it. It's not a penalty or no penalty last week and a penalty this week. They're all penalties, which and I can accept that. The same with the offsides. They're given offsides that, like Aubameyang's one against Benfica, that would have been given offside in the Premier League, but it's given onside. It's given on in Europe. They have this thing of like, oh, we don't want to do what Europe are doing, but then now they're making a shambles of it. But just to touch on the goal as well, it is a shambles from Xhaka. I don't blame Leno, because we do that in the game. Leno, he'll pick up the ball, even if Partey or Xhaka have a man on his back. He'll play it to him. They open the ball out left or right to the centre half, and then we'll move the ball up the wing. What Leno done passing that ball to Xhaka, that's not something new and something going, wait, we never done this before. That's what they look to be doing in training. So it shouldn't be something new or surprising to Xhaka that Leno gave him that ball. He took a touch and then he kind of waited, and then it was like you could see it coming before he played the ball. You're kind of thinking, oh no, and then he goes and does it. But he was the same last week. He lost the ball for the goal against Leicester. He's a liability. He's a good player. He might be a good squad player, but he just can't. He just has these lapses every now and again, and that's why you can't continue with a player like him. He's likable enough, and he does have good things in him. He has a nice pass every now and again in his locker, but we are in a position we are because of having someone like him in midfield. That's all there is to it. I thought Tierney was quiet. I think Willian in front of him, I don't know. It worked against Leicester last week. Look, he was probably right to try it again. I know people were unhappy that Pepe didn't start, But I think it was kind of a flip of a coin, really. I thought they played equally as well last week against Leicester. So Saka was always going to come back in, and we couldn't argue that. Odegaard was going to start with no Smith Rowe. Aubameyang up front. I don't know, it was today the game for Aubameyang up front, up against two kind of physical, strong defenders. Aubameyang is very light, I think, regardless anyway. I'd like to see Lacazette maybe up against them, and then maybe put Aubameyang on the left if you do want to start Aubameyang. But look, it's easy to say it now. I don't know, was he thinking of Thursday in his mind as well? I didn't get why Cedric wasn't in the squad at all, and I thought it was an injury, but a friend of mine was saying no, that it wasn't an injury, it just wasn't involved. So that I found strange. I could see why he played Chambers, I suppose, for long ball, etc. But it kind of took from us from an attacking point of view. I'd rather go to, if I'm playing Burnley, I'm not kind of looking going, how are we going to stop Burnley? I want to see how we're going to break Burnley down and score, But look, it's easy to say it now after the game, But look, it's just, I suppose, disappointing. We missed so many chances, and I know, we've only 1 point from 6 against Burnley as well. That's not good enough.
No, it's not. And both the goals Burnley scored, we basically gifted them, didn't we? An own goal in the first game, and then this one today. Alan, who's actually a Leeds fan, said there he thinks it's 2 points lost. Questions have to be asked of Arteta. His mindset, we were well on top, didn't go for it. Erred on the side of caution. Yeah. Held on to what we have scenario. Yeah, that's typical of what Arteta has been doing most of the season. He won't take risks. He won't take chances. He won't kill the game off. The top teams in that game today, 1-0 up after 5 minutes, would have gone on, got 2-3 goals up, and then sat back, and then made your changes and sat on it. But Arsenal make changes at 1-0 up, and every single time we've got a mistake in us, and often it's Xhaka, as you said. Sometimes it's somebody else, but today again it was Xhaka. And yeah, when it went to 1-1, it was a totally different game. And what did you make of the substitution? When he took Odegaard off, and I think maybe looking ahead to Thursday, that was why he took him off. He then brought Lacazette on, but played him more in the number 10 position, didn't he?
It didn't work.
No, it didn't work. Win the game. Why not? I don't know. I didn't understand that really. What did you make of that?
It wasn't working. I think we got better as Lacazette seemed to go kind of more centre forward, kind of maybe for the last 5 or 10 minutes. We got better after that. Aubameyang was kind of, I don't think he in a position for the last. He was kind of just out left. We could find him out central. Don't think he really had a position at the end. But just going on to touching what Alan said there is just not going for the caution. I don't think he fully trusts the players, to be honest, and that's why he doesn't go out. We don't go out and kill the game off, or we're kind of stuck between, are we defending and playing on the counter, or are we going out going to take the initiative in the game? But that was, I suppose, where he would have gone with that. I think, bringing Lacazette on number 10, I suppose in theory you can see maybe he wanted to rest Odegaard. We don't know what the situation is with Smith Rowe for Thursday, whether he'll make it or not. I don't know, but just to hold on to what we have scenario, let him back in. Just kind of letting them back in. We let them in through our own mistakes. They created one chance. It was a good save from Leno. It was a good move from Burnley as well, to be fair to them. But we never seemed to really go for it, Rich, at the end as well. I think back even to the game we lost 1-0 to Everton at Goodison Park. It was the same today. We throw the kitchen sink with 2 or 3 minutes to go. Why aren't we doing this with 10 or 15 minutes to go?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I agree, maybe, a little bit what Alan said as well, that in what you said there, maybe to a certain degree, he doesn't trust the players enough to go all out to try and win a game, worried that we'll concede at the other end, and we do tend to make mistakes. But that's even more important. And when you're on top, to get 2 or 3 goals up, so when you do make mistakes, it isn't so important maybe. So he's maybe caught in that little dilemma a little bit with it, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe he doesn't trust the players enough, and unfortunately, it's cost us today because we didn't kill the game off when we had the chance, did we? I mean, who would you say, Dave, before we go, who would be your man in a match today? Now, I thought it was a really tough one to pick, actually, because nobody really stood out for me. But what did you kind of make of that?
I would have said Rich, to be honest. I think he cleared every ball, every pass that came into him. I think he dealt with Wood in the air very well. He won a lot. From what I remember, he won all his duels. He won a lot of the ball in the air. I would say Barry. Yeah, if I was to look at someone, I suppose that's kind of might just on the reflection of the game. It mightn't really kind of show the true reflection, But I think if I was to give it to anyone, is Mary, and I hope Mary starts on Thursday night with Gabriel. I think now is the time. I'm not saying Louise did anything necessarily wrong today or he had a poor game today, But yeah. I think now is the time to maybe I'd like to see Gabriel and Mary together. I know there's the argument, both of them are left-footed, but down through the years, I think it was Sol Campbell and Cole Torre, weren't they both right-footed?
Yeah, I think they were, yeah.
Well, if it can work for two right-footed players, why can't it work for two left-footed players? I think they are our two best defenders. He kind of seemed to drop. Rob Holding is kind of got dropped. I know he picked up the knock against Man City, but he hasn't got a look in since either. So, but all in all, I think Mary's probably our best defender.
I thought today he was really good. Yeah, I agree with you.
But even in general, Rich, I think Mary, from what I've seen of him over the last 2 or 3 months, I think he's better. He's been better than Gabriel. I think Gabriel is good, and he will go on to be a good centre half. That's why I'd like to see the two of them together. But then in your back four, you have 3 left-footed players in the back four as well, which when you take into account Kieran Tierney. So maybe look from a balance point of view. But I don't want. Like, we're playing David Luiz, he's out of contract again. Are we giving him another contract? You're kind of pushing it. You're kind of pushing the boat maybe down, pushing it down the road a little bit. Like he isn't going to be the long-term answer. I'd rather see Gabriel get the game.
I think he's a good influence maybe on some of the younger players. He's worth having around. I mean, whether he'll play much next season, like you said, we've got some good younger defenders now coming, and Mari is playing well. Obviously, Gabriel is going to be good, as you said, and even Callum Chambers can play centre back. He's maybe more suited to that position anyway, isn't he? And I thought he did okay today in the circumstances. But anyway, before you go, then, Dave, just give your channel a plug as well, because you've got your own channel now as well, haven't you?
I do. I have my own channel. It's actually not showing correctly on my name there. It's actually out now, Gunners. I haven't done much myself recently. Channel wise, now I've made appearances on different channels and stuff like that, But channel wise, it's kind of just been caught with time at the moment. So look, I'll be hopefully looking at kind of getting back up and kind of getting the content out. I suppose a bit more now as we're coming in kind of to the back end of the season, and I suppose once I hopefully have a little bit of more time on my hands. But so it's coming up as Ass and Gunners, but it's actually Out and Out Gunners. So if anyone wants to take a look, I'd be happy to see it.
Yeah, definitely check Dave's channel out as well. I say Out and Out Gunners it is on YouTube.
Correct.
So definitely get over there and have a look at that. So thanks for coming on anyway, Dave. It's been a pleasure chatting to you about the game. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks a million, Rich. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks
Take care.
And now we've got Ryan Williams. How you doing, mate? You all right? What did you make of all of that game and everything that went on?
Wasn't impressed, to be honest with you, Rich. The first half was all right. Just felt we should have took our chances. It just looked like the Wolves game all over again in terms of the first half. Ultimately, the only thing that didn't happen was someone getting sent off and a penalty, but we still managed to let Burnley back into the game. Xhaka, I'll touch on Xhaka in a sec if you ask me a question about him anyways. But yeah, we blew it, man. I just felt as a whole, the game as a whole, we didn't take our chances in the first half. Xhaka made a horrible error. I wasn't happy with the substitutions personally. If anything, that showed Burnley even more confidence to get back into this game. And yeah, that's pretty much it, That's it.
Yeah, no, I agree with the substitutions to a degree. Martinelli should have maybe come. I know Ceballos almost scored at the end actually and won it, but I'm sure Martinelli would have given us a lot more forward injection in those final 15 minutes when I thought we needed to win this game. I know people say the Europa League is more important, and it probably is, but we need to win as many league games as we can. And what annoyed me more, I suppose you can take a draw sometimes if maybe you've been behind and you come back and you show a bit of fight, like last week when we won after conceding. But today we were in control of that game so much it was almost to the point where, you know, you're almost sitting back thinking, oh, this is great. Let's just get the second goal, game over, and it's done. And I mean, the goal, I mean, I know you sort of just touched on it there. I mean, that was a ridiculous mistake, wasn't it, from Granit Xhaka? I mean, what was he thinking? Surely, you know, he could have done pretty much anything else with that ball other than that, really. Just get rid of it. Just if you're under pressure and you're unsure, you've just got to get rid of it, haven't you? Even put it out for a corner or something. Just not that.
Literally took it right out my mouth. He could have just gave it to the corner. Yeah, we probably would have moaned at him for doing that. But ultimately, you know, I'd rather him do that. You know what I mean? Just get moaned at for a second, and then obviously, you know, we take care of the corner and we go in the counter attack. But yeah, I don't know. My head's been hurting from this morning, from when I woke up, and it just. How do you think it felt after seeing that? It was such a joke. Oh,
it was. I mean, I've been saying for the last few weeks, actually, the goals that we've conceded in recent games have been terrible. They've been goals that we've gifted the opposition. You know, the game against Benfica, we gifted them both them goals, really. The obviously Leicester goal last week, the goal against Man City was just terrible defending. But today's one, for me, that's topped a lot there. I never thought I'd see a worse goal than the Man City one or the Benfica one when Ceballos did that header. And suddenly here we are today with a goal that's probably topped a lot. I mean, that was just that would be bad. As I just said before, that would be bad on a Sunday morning, wouldn't it, to give away a goal like that? But in the Premier League, that's just not acceptable, is it? It's not. It's just ridiculous.
Do you know what, Rich? Let me quickly ask you this, yeah. And you know, I've said this on Ryan's watch along. The thing that annoys, and this is what annoys me about Arteta, and I've already spoken to you how I feel about the manager already. So the inconsistencies, right? And this is the thing. If Xhaka's allowed to do that, why the hell did Danny Ceballos get subbed off for making two crucial mistakes and allowing Benfica back in the game in the Europa League, where Xhaka could play the rest of the 90 minutes? And again, I didn't have a problem with Ceballos coming on, but there's two arguments. You know, some people be like, "Oh yeah, but Partey's just come back and he needs to." No, I'm not having that. Yeah, and I get it. I do get it. Partey might have to come off, but you haven't many. He could have been thrown on for Partey if needed, but Partey didn't look like he was in any sorts of uncomfort at all. If anything, Xhaka should have come off for Ceballos. Then I would have been fine. But that substitution should have happened instead of Lacazette and Odegaard. That peeved me off because that was the only creativity that we had in the middle. Willian didn't play too bad, to be fair, you know. But we needed him and Odegaard, if anything. And Saka should have came off. Saka was awful today. I think he kept forcing things. Just, you know, he might have been a bit laggy. Okay, cool. Got that bit of that rust. But you've been rested for like over a week now, man. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna throw Saka under the bus completely, but I felt Saka should have come off for Pepe or Martinelli, and you know that's what pees me off with the subs, Rich, because of stuff like that and Saka and then Xhaka staying on after that. That's inconsistency for them. That's why I feel the way with the manager. But like I said, he could try to turn me around. Ultimately, he can. Anyone can try to change your mind. But it's going to be a hard task now because I agree with you. What you said to me a few interviews ago when you said to me, ultimately, we still got a chance points-wise in creeping in European football places. But, you know, this was probably the best chance that we got because we got so many hard games. Tottenham, West Ham, Liverpool still to play. Like, even Liverpool, as bad as they are, the quality up front is still can hurt us. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this would, and we've dropped so many points this season. We've just given Burnley 4 points this season, you know, and we talk about, we got 4 points off United this season. Like, That's not. Do you know what? I don't even care about that anymore. Compared to look where we are, 10th, and they're in second. Yeah, they're a bit wobbly, but Burnley, who played the most boringest football in the Premier League. I think we're there now. We look, and one more point, sorry, and I'm kind of rambling on. When Arteta took off Odegaard and Willian, it looked like how we started the season with no creativity. It's like we reverted back to type, and this is what I keep saying about Arteta. Revert back to type. The same crap that when we saw Bellerin with Pepe. I know we didn't see that today, thank God, which was a shock. But it reverts back to type, and I hate that. It's like he doesn't learn his lesson. And I know he's learning on the job and all that stuff, but write it down, man. Do you know what I'm saying? You should know Bellerin shouldn't play with Pepe. Okay, he did that today. Great. But Granit Xhaka, no, I'm sorry. You take him off. That's bad for what you did to Tobias, if anything. And then Odegaard, he ain't played that much football, you know. So why is he not staying on? I don't get when the Mill's not even. I don't know, man. It just
the only thing on that.
Today.
I mean, on that point, man, the only thing I would say is maybe he's thinking a little bit of Thursday as well, thinking, you know, Odegaard might well be needed on Thursday because Smith Rowe still might be injured, and he maybe thought, well, I'll take him off after 60-odd minutes, whatever it was, give him a rest. And maybe he felt bringing Lacazette on might have given us something, a goal scorer to come on maybe, but it didn't work at all because Lacazette spent half of his time far too deep, as he tends to do anyway, and it didn't really work, did it? And we did that.
Was missing as well.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really until the final injury time, really, that we really threw stuff at it. We nearly got a goal, didn't we, at the end when Ceballos hit the post. A bit unlucky, maybe, but I mean, that's clutching at straws a little bit because we should have done that 10 minutes earlier, shouldn't we? We should have thrown everything at it, and then we might have had a chance of getting the goal, and we left it too late. But I suppose in previous games, I've complained that we haven't thrown enough at it at the end, and today at least we did at the very end. We just left it too late today, unfortunately, to get the goal.
Should have been the first half.
Yeah, I mean, do you think there should have been a penalty when obviously the first handball from Peters when Pepe flicked it past him?
100%. Listen, if Spurs, if Fulham can get a goal written off, surely. And besides, we've seen it so many times in the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I remember my mate, he supports West Ham, right? He was fuming at that game against Sheffield United last season where their goal got disallowed because there was a handball in the build-up. Do you know what I'm saying? And, you know, is a handball there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, fair enough. The other time where the guy got a red card and they rescinded it, fair enough. That's fine. But the other one, no. There's just, I don't know about that one. That, how in the hell you can say, or not even check that? That doesn't make sense. Why didn't VAR say anything to the referee in his ear? What's that about?
That's the annoying part of it. Yeah, that's the worst part of it, really, because that's what VAR is supposed to be for, isn't it? To pick up those mistakes that the referee makes. And he made a mistake there because he didn't see it, and VAR did nothing. And it just seems strange that we seem to get those decisions against us more often than we get them going for us, don't we? I know last week we got one for us, didn't we? It wasn't given initially at Leicester, was it? And then VAR checked it and gave it. And today they didn't even check it.
It was concrete, though. This is the thing. It was so concrete at Leicester. This was concrete as well. But
it was,
I don't know. I don't know. And do you know what? I felt they probably felt sorry for us at Leicester. They thought, let's just give them a slap on us. But you know what? I'm not going to – I know. But you know what? I'm not going to blame that wrong decision on why we lost 2 points. You know, because again, we should have been out of sight in the first half. That's why I said this was like Wolves all over again, just without the red card. Yeah. You know, we should have been out of sight in the first half. And, you know, obviously Xhaka cost us the 2 points as well. But at the end of the day, why did it take us, you know, until, you know, the 90th minute for us to – because, you know, Burnley are going to do that, though. This is what Burnley do. They go out, they try for like 85 minutes. If they know they can't get anything, they just sit behind the ball. They don't mind that. This is the thing. And you take off Odegaard. And I know what you said about Europa League and that. But Odegaard hasn't really played that much. You know? I don't think he'd have been that tired. I mean, what? It's Saturday now. Thursday, that's plenty of rest. That's plenty of rest for me.
Yeah,
and if that is the case, you might as well just drop Willian in the 10 and then bring on Pepe to play on the right, and then or Martinelli. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I would have done. And I would have probably saved if I was going to bring Lacazette on, then Aubameyang has to come off. Aubameyang went missing after that first goal. I mean, he did have a couple chances. Well, one was a half chance. But once Aubameyang went to that left, he was gone. I didn't see Aubameyang really for the rest of the game, other than a few dribbles. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's down to game management in the end, man. And this has been our problem from the moment. It's crazy. He had better game management as a coach than a manager. This is the thing that I find difficult with Arteta. It's like, yeah, we finished 8th last season with an FA Cup, but there were some games you did a lot better as a coach compared to this season when the responsibility is on more on you. So it's like, was giving him the manager spot too quick, which I did feel it was very quick, but ultimately, has that hindered Arteta even more in trying to develop? Because, you know, like I said, he doesn't really learn from his mistakes. But yeah, we go again. I'm tired of moaning. Tired of going.
Yeah, well, it was that sort of game today, unfortunately, wasn't it? But before you go on, who would you give man of the match for us? Because it was, for me, it was a tough one today to pick one from that. Actually, really, really tough. Who would you give it to if you had to give one?
I think, to be honest, there's only 2 people. Well, one person I wouldn't give it, but he had a good showing in Chambers. But it has to be Murray. I mean, Murray was the only person I could really. Every time he touched the ball, I was like, I was calm with it. Murray was fantastic in terms of just keeping it calm, dealing with it, and everything. Like, listen, and the thing is, I said this about Murray when we was on that little run. I said he made Holding look all right, and then once Murray went out injured, or that supposedly mystery £100 million fee that we had to pay, I mean, it just started to crumble. So yeah, Murray had a good game. He's definitely my man in the match. I want to give a shout out to Chambers because a lot of people have dissed him. And I'm thinking, well, did no one remember when Chambers was playing out of his skin when Bellerin was still on the treatment table? And then he got injured, and then we had to stick Ainsley there, and then it was a bit of a bit up and down. So, my special mentions to Chambers. I thought he played well. And I'd keep him as a utility player. Yeah, no,
exactly. Yeah, no, he did do well. And but yeah, I think Mari, I agree with you. I thought Mari had a decent game. He dealt well with the physical presence of Chris Wood. I know Chris Wood scored the goal, but you can't really blame Mari for that. So, but yeah, no, I thought he did well. I can't really argue too much with that. Just before you go, Ryan, just give your channel a plug because you're doing some good stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, cheers, man. Finally made it to 100 subs now, thank God. So I want to thank everybody for that. But obviously, my goal is to get to 150. So yeah, guys, check me out, Ryan Williams AFC. My match reaction will be out very, very shortly. So give me a sub. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well, and follow me on Twitter at RJ Wills. But Rich, thanks again for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on the channel, man.
No, same, mate. It's always good to have you on. Look forward to Thursday. Hopefully, a better result for us on Thursday. Anyway, we'll see.
I hope so. I know Socrates is probably going to look for blood as well. So
he definitely will be. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can get a good result there and set us up nicely for the second leg. And obviously, of course, the big one next weekend as well, isn't it? The North London derby. So we need to play better then.
I'm so worried.
Yeah,
I'm so worried for that. Oh, this season alone.
I'm sure we'll be all right. We need to get revenge on them that way because they beat us before, but we'll see.
I don't know how. He can't.
Thanks for coming on, mine. Anyway.
Cheers, man.
We'll meet again soon. Yeah, take it easy. Cheers, man.
We'll do. Take care. Bye.
And we've got a bonus for you. We've got Dan coming back in, obviously, from last night, Burnley perspective on the game as well, which is going to be interesting. We're all kind of frustrated as Arsenal fans with that game because we were in a comfortable position and gave it away. You must be, I would say, probably quite delighted with that point in the end, because you did predict it that yesterday we'd score first.
Yeah.
So it almost went exactly to your plan, didn't it?
Yeah. It was awkward to watch. Like you say, 6 minutes in, you got you draw blood. And to be honest, we should have, at that point, teams that, there's been teams against us this season that have drawn blood early and then put us to the slaughter before half time. I think not long after that, obviously Saka had a chance which went across the face of goal.
Yeah.
If that had gone in at 2-0, you're talking a completely different game. Arsenal well in control. I mean, for the rest of the first half, he was in control. There was hardly anything. There was hardly anything from us after the Saka chance. Partey had a chance. Odegaard did really well on your counter, kept the ball in, managed to find it through everybody on the edge of the box. Fans parting. He's only just put it over the bar. You were knocking at the door constantly, and we didn't really have an answer or a Scooby as what to do. We really didn't know where to turn, what was happening. But just going back to that first goal, though, I think you've got to give credit to Aubameyang for keeping calm in that scenario. But looking at it from our perspective, Matt Lawton should not be dropping off there. He should be getting in, sticking a foot in. I know sometimes if you go early with a foot, and put a foot in, maybe he's been a bit more wary of conceding the penalty. But then you've got to look at Nick Pope getting beat at his near post. I mean, you can see from the save, he thinks he's got a strong enough hand on it, and he's tipped it around the post. And you can see, obviously, it squirmed past him, and he's not happy with it. I mean, Gareth Southgate were there today. So he wouldn't have, Pope wouldn't have been happy with conceding that, especially so early on, and to his near post.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the half, up until obviously our equaliser, it was more of just like a midfield scrap. But if I was to sort of justify the game, if you've never watched football before, it was quite a good encounter to watch because it had a bit of everything. It had the drama, it had incidents, it had it sort of had that little bit of like an amateur derby feel in a little way.
Yeah,
which I thought were quite interesting.
No, there was, especially in the second half in particular, there seemed to be a lot going on. There were chances at both ends. There was VAR, there were penalties, there was red cards given and not given, and it all kind of happened in the second half, really. And I suppose from a neutral point of view, it probably would have been quite good to watch, I suppose. I mean, I personally found the second half really frustrating because, the goal that we gave away, I mean, I know you said our goal was quite poor defensively from Burnley, and yes, it probably was. I thought it was a good move we put together. I said at the time in the watch along I was doing that, I felt Nick Pope should have done better at his near post, but I think maybe initially he was expecting Aubameyang to go across the goal as he usually does, but he maybe took it only at the near post and maybe caught Pope out a little bit, and he did get down, but he maybe was just not quite quickly enough, was he? And he didn't get a strong enough hand on it. But I know he'd be disappointed, but I thought it was a good move from Arsenal. But I mean, there's absolutely no excuse for the goal we gave to you. I mean, we scored the own goal at the Emirates, and then I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a goal like that in the Premier League. We
were talking about Xhaka, weren't we, yesterday? We were talking about Xhaka, and against Burnley, it's starting to look now where it's quite apparent that Xhaka falls to bits when it comes to playing us. Obviously, he can lose his head, because we are quite physical. Don't get me wrong, and I think Xhaka kind of embraces that, and sometimes it's the reason why he obviously can lose his cool. On the flip side of that, for what he did today, I mean, where his head were, it were proper. Going back to that Nigel Pearson comment, weren't it? That head in the sand, you must be an ostrich sort of thing, because how he didn't turn or try and keep the ball at his feet. Maybe even play it back to Leno. For Leno just to give it a big punt forward. Yeah, all he had to do was stick his foot on it and clear it. But honestly, if Chris Wood was in an Arsenal shirt, you could understand why he'd done what he's done.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was, to me, he had 3 or 4 options that he could have done. Hoofed it out for a corner, done anything else. And the only thing not to do was what he did, was pass it across the goal. I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to go round Chris Wood, wasn't he, and find David Luiz. But you can't risk in that space. You just can't do it. And once again, you put Xhaka under pressure. Last week, he made a mistake, gave away a goal, put under pressure. This week, he's put under pressure. He gives away a goal. And I've tried to defend Granit Xhaka because I do think he does a good job in the team, but he's making too many mistakes recently, and it's costing us. It's cost us 2 points today. We got away with it last week, but we didn't today. And I mean, I just want to kind of move on to the second half, really, because you had a couple of good chances, didn't you? That one Chris Wood had, great save from
Vidra obviously put Chris Wood through, and at that point I thought, that's it. This is 2-1. I honestly looked up and I thought 2-1. It's got to be. And Leno's done really well, spread his body across there, cut it out. But I've got a stat for you, actually, that since the start of 2016-17, Granit Xhaka has made more errors leading to goals than any other outfield player in the Premier League, with 8.
I mean, I suppose 8 in 5 years, it isn't as bad as if you look at it like that. But if it's the most in the Premier League, then that kind of says it all, really, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
It's the highest number. And I mean, I say that's obviously 2 in a row now as well, 2 weeks in a row. But I mean, that one today was. There's no excuse for that.
It was definitely a game of 2 halves. Definitely a game of 2 halves. Like I say, first half you completely bossed it.
It was, but maybe I think the game changed on that goal, didn't it? Because if we'd gone in at half-time 1-0 up, I don't think the second half would have played out the way that it did. You seemed to get confidence from the goal and you was back in it and you suddenly thought you had an opportunity. And I thought, Sean Dyche made some good substitutions to try to win the game. You did have probably the clearest chance maybe with that Chris Wood one. I know we hit the post right at the end, and obviously we should have had a penalty. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Not the one that was given and then not given. Just before that,
the one where Eric Peters kind of has his hand a bit up. You see them given. You see them. Yeah. To be honest, that brings it back to our goal. I mean, you see them disallowed because Chris Wood's kind of thrown himself at it with his arm. Kind of, I don't know. It's a bit of catch-22, that sort of goal, but you have seen them been disallowed, and especially when it's Burnley and the Premier League and nobody liking us. Usually, it's something that goes against us, but luckily, we're on the right side of the law this time.
And you did score at the cricket field end again, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, get in. Don't have to change my name. Although we did contemplate, somebody put a picture up, and they renamed the away, and they've called it the Granit Xhaka stand. They said,
it have to be now after that because he's certainly put a good goal in there for you. Obviously, leading Arsenal fan is gutted with that. Yeah, have to be honest, we were well on top. We were give a crazy goal. Exactly. Yeah, it's happened so many times. It has. The first down ball is a cast iron penalty. Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. I'm surprised it wasn't given. Really was. When it's not just that, but it hits him twice.
Yeah,
it hits him twice.
Well, the first one, you could think, okay, yeah, his arm was a bit more to his side, but the second one, his arm's up in the air, and I know it's close to him and this, that, and the other, but the rule's been the rule all season where if it hits your arm and your arm's in an unnatural position away from your body, it's a penalty, and there's no real excuse for that. Lee there says fair play to Burnley. They showed fantastic spirit, and I thought they did in the second half in particular, but. I do think the game turned on that equaliser because I think if we was 1-0 up at half time, I think the second half we would have managed the second half differently because we were ahead. There'd have been more pressure on you. You'd have had to overcommit people at times to get back in it, and I think we could have picked you off on a counter attack. But in the end, you defended really well. I mean, I know Ben Mee was given man of the match, wasn't he? Would you go along with that yourself? He had a good game, didn't he? Or both of your two centre.
I'd say our complete back four, apart from Lawton's early mistake for kind of sitting off Oba for the first goal, I'd say that our back four were pretty solid. Eric Peters, when he came on for Charlie Taylor, within that first 15 minutes, he's smashed a worldie, which from out of nowhere, and obviously he's had Leno backpedaling to tip that over the bar, which at first I was like, whoa, did that really happen? Of all the people on the pitch in claret and blue, I didn't expect it from Eric Peters. No. And then obviously all the drama of the sending off and the hitting the shoulder and everything else. And at first I were really piercing into TV, trying to get every single pixel right to see if I got it spot on that it was shoulder. But Ben Mee's got to. Just for them dying minutes, I reckon you'd have gone on to win that game if you'd have actually come forward, not just in the last. As soon as they said at 4 minutes at a time, Arsenal thought, "Oh, here we go. Let's start playing some football." Now, if they did that in the last 15 minutes, from 75th minute onwards, there's a good chance you could have put that game to bed without a shadow of a doubt.
But this is something that's been a problem for us all season. We are far too conservative in the way that we play. We don't try and kill teams off, and when we're losing, or in today's case drawing, we don't take enough risks early enough to try and win it. In the end, we took a few risks in the last 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time. We did nearly win it, to be fair. We hit the post.
Yeah.
It was a bit unlucky there. There was another shot blocked, I think that was Ben Mee blocked that as well. He blocked a few, didn't he, today?
Yeah.
And
not last minute winner for your lads this time. I'm not having it.
There's been a few in recent years, actually. We scored quite a lot of late goals away at Burnley. I was saying that in the watch-along as well, but unfortunately today we couldn't quite find it. I mean, Russ there says penalty all day long. Yeah, I think we know it was. And Steve there should have been 3 up before Burnley scored.
100%.
Mental strength after that. Yeah, the confidence did go. It did, and I thought the second half was it was a game of 2 halves, definitely. And in the second half, but that was because of that goal only. I think we would have probably gone on comfortably and won that game if we'd been 1-0 up at half time. I think we would have done. So I feel it's 2 points drop personally. I'm guessing you're probably happy with your point, are you? Or do you feel you could have maybe won it?
Yeah, I mean, we had the chances to do it, but then you look at it from the outside, and as soon as you say Burnley Arsenal, you've earned a point. You'd be happy with that every day of the week. So I can't fault it. I think it's a great point. We've hit the 30-point mark. I think another 7 points and we're mathematically safe, in my opinion. Yeah. If we can get another point against Everton next weekend, that would be even greater, and probably will help your lads out. If we could even get a win would be better. But yeah, no, I think a point is a solid point, and I'm more happy about the performance. We could have happily lost that game 1-0 today, and that incident not happened with Xhaka. And I'd have walked away and gone, you know what, fair play. We gave it a go. We kind of took that same momentum from the Leicester game and carried on. And just on that basis, I'd have been happy enough. But I predicted 1-1. The 1-1 came out. I should have put money on it. Silly me, but just one of those. I'm definitely happy with the point though, massively.
Well, you and Joe both said 1-1 actually last night, so
yeah.
We're both right there. I mean, I say I'm disappointed because that game for me was there for the taking for us in that first half. And, we've mentioned it earlier on the show today that it's very similar to our game against Wolves, where we dominated the game, only scored the 1 goal and made mistakes and lost. Today we didn't lose, but it feels like a loss, actually. No disrespect to Burnley, but in that position at 1-0 up in that much control, we should have won that game. And we let back in it. And in the second half, we even could have lost it, although equally we could have won it with a chance. I mean, it was, like you said, the second half for a neutral was actually probably good to watch because there was pretty much everything that can happen in football in that second half happened, except there was no goals. Everything else that could have happened. There were chances, there was drama, there was VAR, there was everything, wasn't there? And I suppose it was exciting to watch, but obviously we hit the post as well, so there was that kind of stuff going on. And but
it was missing a streaker. That's all it was missing. Missing a streaker, and that were about it.
But that's about the only thing we didn't get. But yeah, I mean, it was. I suppose it was a good game to watch, and maybe when I watch the highlights back later, I might appreciate it more for what it was. But I just still feeling massively frustrated because for me, we need to win that game to have any chance of getting back or to get a chance of getting in the top 6. And now it's another 2 points dropped. Other teams dropped points this week with draws and losses, and we haven't managed to take advantage again. And we've done that too many times now, and we're running out of games to get that top 6. So suddenly now there's massive pressure on the Europa League for us. I know you asked last night what I'd rather have done. We actually got a draw today. We didn't lose, but it makes it even more important now that we do get something from this Europa League now.
Well, do you think though that? Do you think that's why at kind of 1-0 you kind of sat back, sort of right? Let's sit on this sort of aspect. Just pass it around. Try and work that. So they've kind of got a bit more fire in the tank for the Europa League game.
Possibly. I mean, I did feel in the second half some of the substitutions, like he took Odegaard off. I think he's looking at the game there, and some of the other substitutions maybe as well were partly to do with that game. But to me, you can't worry too much about the game coming up when you've still got this game that you're playing at that time. You've got to win that game first and then worry about the other game afterwards. And if you pick up an injury, you pick up an injury. That's just part of football. You can't stop it sometimes. So if the team were, and if Arteta was thinking too much about the game on Thursday during this game, then to me that's a massive mistake because you can't afford to do that. You've got to manage each game for what it is, and you've got to try and win each game in the best way that you can. And today we had a great opportunity, I felt, to win today, and we didn't take it. And that's going to unfortunately be the story of our season, I think, certainly in the Premier League. And it's going to be why we're going to finish probably not far off where we are now. Actually, we're in 10th place for a reason, and this is why, because we don't take advantages when we're on top of games. We've done it too many times. But I say, someone mentioned it in the comments there about the spirit Burnley showed, and they did second half. You had a good go at it, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was a great save from Leno, that actually from Chris Wood, that's saved us from losing, which would have been a complete disaster from our point of view, actually, because I didn't think we deserved to lose the game, but we probably didn't do it to win in the end. I think from our point of view, you've got to do more to win a game. I said last night, it's difficult to win an away game in the Premier League, and you've got to do more to win it than we did today. And I think maybe it was a game of two halves. I feel disappointed we didn't win, but I suppose if you're looking at it from a neutral point of view, maybe a draw was perhaps a fair result. Did you feel that maybe over the whole 90 minutes?
I mean, I can say yeah, but then if you look at the chances that you had, like I say, the Saka one was it was just destined for the back of the net. I know it was from a tight angle. Don't get me wrong, but from a tight angle, and he had Pope closing down on him. And he's only a young lad; he's still learning. The Partey chance, it's all about just keeping it, hard and low sort of aspect.
Yeah,
but instead put his foot through it. Ceballos at the end came extremely close. I mean, you couldn't come any closer without scoring a goal. So it was one of those though as well. When it hit Ben Mee's shin and it started pinballing around the box, I thought this is it. We're finished. There's just going to be that moment like Mortal Kombat in the old days. There's just going to be someone in the background going, finish him, and then it's just going to someone's just going to pilot it back at net. I'm very happy with a point. Looking back, very happy.
Yeah, no, I think you maybe deserve something in the end for the way you battled in the second half, actually, and we threw it away. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And it's not the first time, and it is disappointing, but it is what it is. We move on now to Thursday, and obviously you've got a few more big games coming up as well yourselves, haven't you? As you look to try to keep yourselves. I say it's probably a good point for you today, and like you said, like you said last night, it keeps you 7 points above Fulham. I think they've got a game in hand, but then you've got them two teams. Is it Brighton and Newcastle got 2 games in hand on you? So I know neither of them are winning many games at the minute, but you never know, do you? It's a they're quite close to you as well. So
funny old game is football.
You're not out of trouble completely yet, are you? You're not safe.
No, definitely not.
Work to do, and we've kind of helped you out a little bit today. And if you do stay up by 4 points, it'll be the 4 points that we gave you, because that's basically what we've done this season. Well, 4 points that we've dropped against you, we've given.
Well, it's like I think someone that were on earlier. I think it was you when you were Melvin run. I think Melvin said, 1 point from 6 for Arsenal. Looking at it from outside, if even not as an Arsenal fan, but if someone was to tell me that and I wasn't a fan of football, you think, wow, how shit are Arsenal? On that basis, if you wasn't a football fan, you think it's only Burnley, for Christ's sake. But it's that steely northern grit and that Sean Darsh masterclass that finally shows every now and again. But it was just good to see some fight, like I say, and it's like you lad said, you don't know what you're going to get from Arteta week in, week out. So it's going to be tough for us, and it's going to be tough for yourselves in that running for like you wanting the top 6.
Yeah, no, it's going to be hard. We've made it hard for ourselves. Steve says, we were not ruthless enough in front of goal yet. Second half, Burnley felt they could get something. Yeah, it worked hard, and I agree. But I totally agree. Yeah, they did work hard for their point, and I thought they probably deserved. Yes, we had chances and we should have won, but you can't say Burnley didn't deserve something for the way they battled back in that second half. So yeah, I think maybe we just have to accept sometimes that's the way it is. And I'll say I'm still frustrated and disappointed that we didn't see the game through, and mainly with the goal that we conceded, which was just laughable, really. If another team in the league concedes that goal, you laugh about it, don't you? You really do. And unfortunately, when it happens to you, you can't laugh about it, really.
Yeah, it's up there with that beach ball incident. That it's
it probably is, actually. Yeah.
It's sort of so you kind of try and zone out and think, what is Xhaka actually thinking? What is going through his head?
Yeah,
because there's so many opportunities to get rid of that. You'd like to say, pass back to Leno, just pump it anywhere, throw in corner, just.
Yeah.
it wouldn't have looked half as bad if he even tried to clear it out for a corner and put it back of his own net, if I'm honest. But instead of passing it to Grace Wood, made it look worse.
What I feel actually thinking about it is that because obviously Arteta likes Arsenal to try and play out from the back, doesn't he? And he's trying to encourage them, and they probably work on that in training. He's probably said to Xhaka, you know, that's what I want you to do. I want us to play out from the back. Don't feel bad about that mistake because I want us to do that. You know, obviously it's a bad. I don't think he's tore into him at half time like, say, other managers would have done. Imagine Alex Ferguson, what he would have done, a player doing that. He would have kicked a boot in their head, wouldn't he, like he's done before?
Oh, yeah.
And but I don't think Arteta's done that. I think Arteta's maybe said to Xhaka, look, you know, I know what we're trying to do. You're trying to do what I want you to do. And yes, you got it wrong, but don't give up on the plan, if you like. And I feel that's what he's done with him. Whereas to me, I would have, you know, you've got to, you know, maybe, I don't know, obviously Ryan was saying before you should have took him off. And yeah, maybe that would have been what you should have done. I don't know. But you've got to, you can't allow that to happen, even though he was trying to do what he's told, in a sense, play it out from the back. You've got to take responsibility yourself as a player and say, I'm under pressure here and I'm just going to have to boot this ball out. And sometimes you've just got to take responsibility. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You've got to do it. And he should have done that.
Everybody in Sunday, you know, it's Sunday league sort of tactics. You know, if you're under pressure or whatever, and you think it's better to kick it onto third pitch along, do it. Yeah. We used to have a defender, Clark Carlisle, back when we were in Premier 09. Yeah. And the first thing he did is, as soon as it came to his feet, he just pumped it. Every time, pumped it forward. He didn't sit there, try and look and play a pass. It was what he was known for. As soon as a ball came anywhere near his feet, he'd pump it. And, you know, I think that's what Xhaka should have done today.
He should have done, yeah. And I just feel as though Arteta isn't going to necessarily crucify him for it, because it's what Arteta wants us to do. Not.
Oh, yeah, but there's definitely going to be that section of fans that will have been stood at the dressing room door, slapped him on the back of the head and said, what you've been playing at? Burnley again, and you've let yourself down. Why? Is it? Do you not like the colour claret and blue? What's your problem? Sort of thing. Like, what's going on?
Well, he seems to like claret and blue because he kind of gives you gifts every time we play you lately. But I mean, it needs to be. I mean, obviously, I don't know what went on at half time. My personal feeling is that Arteta wouldn't have necessarily gone into him for that, because it is the kind of thing he's trying to encourage us to do, that play from the back, and he would have known that's what Xhaka was doing. In a way, maybe Arteta's to blame for encouraging players to do that maybe aren't comfortable doing it, because Xhaka, when he's put under pressure anywhere on the pitch, he's likely to do something silly, and that's what he did. But anyway, I guess it's gone now. Let's see what happens going forward for us as well. You know, be interesting. I haven't heard Arteta's interviews or anything yet, or anything else. So I'm going to catch up with them later on today, and I'll put a video together for a match review as well. I'll probably bring it out tomorrow. I want to watch it again, maybe on Match of the Day as well tonight, and see, go through it again. But anyway, well, thanks for coming on, Dave. It's been brilliant to get.
Not a problem. Thanks.
To get a Burnley perspective on it all as well. Just where can people find you on social media, mate? Just before you go.
In the name below. These bloody fingers. There we go. Just follow us at Cricket Field End, Facebook, Twitter. We'll soon be doing these ourselves, doing some podcast match previews, getting opposition fans on. So when that's all up and running, feel free to give us a shout, and we'll try and get you on for any sort of feedback for any Premier League fixtures.
Yeah, no, definitely. That sounds good. Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be good to get you on YouTube as well. I know there's a lot of YouTube channels on football, but there's always room for more people, and you know, it's good to give each other support as well. And it's been good 100%. To everyone. I mean, you've been on the show a few times now, and you know, when we've played you guys, so it's always a pleasure. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Look forward to obviously speaking again very soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, and we both have a successful end of the campaign.
Let's hope so. Yeah, hopefully we'll be meeting again next season anyway, in the Premier League.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Thanks for coming on, mate. No worries. Thanks a lot for that.
No worries. Cheers for that.
Cheers, and see you, mate. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
So there we go. That was a fan cam review, instant reaction show there on the channel today. I'll say a disappointing result for Arsenal in the end. Good to get Dan's point of view there as well from Burnley. Obviously, they're delighted with their point, as you can imagine. And good luck to them for the rest of the season as well. I hope they do stay up. It is a good away day, and we should be able to go next season. But yeah, very frustrating game for Arsenal. Very disappointing result in the end. Another game that we've thrown away. And yeah, we just have to hope that on Thursday we can put it right and get a good result in the Europa League and press on to next season, to the next round, of that, and move on in the competition and hopefully enjoy a better finish to the season. But every week we look like we're getting somewhere. It's one step forward, two steps back with Arsenal at the moment, isn't it? We just can't seem to put together a consistent run of performances and results, certainly not in the Premier League, and this is another disappointing one. But thanks for watching the show anyway. Thanks to all you guys in the chat as well. Mark C, the Norwegian Gooner as well. Mark Reddy as well, Leeds fan. Ben, Gareth, Newcastle fan, and Nitesh as well. Alan, of course, as well, who's was in the chat earlier, Leeds fan. Lee as well, Russ and Steve as well. So thanks to all you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks to all my guests for coming on as well. I know it seems like I've been on for hours now. I think I need to lie down in a dark room to get over that. But thanks for watching this show anyway. Thanks for supporting the channel. I will have my review video of the game coming out tomorrow, looking back on it all and trying to pick a man in a match, which will be very difficult. There's been a few different players tonight were picked, weren't they? So I'll have a little think about that. But say thanks to all you guys for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. Loads coming on. Make sure you give it a like and a subscribe, and stay tuned for more great stuff coming up in the next few days. And in the meantime, of course, as always, we finish in the same way. Very disappointing day it's been in the end, hasn't it? Burnley won, Arsenal won. Come on, you Gunners. Stay tuned to the channel. Loads coming up. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening on Spotify as well. See you soon, guys. Take it easy.